Welcome back to our mid-episode break, namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helped stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of yet another Tom Hanks movie coming out, we're looking back at a classic Hanks movie, Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is a 1994 romantic comedy drama starring Joe versus the Volcano, The Princess Bride, CSI New York, Brian Hastings from season 8 of 24, that one's for Andrew, and the mom from Mrs. Doubtfire. It is the second highest grossing film of 1994 because despite how well this movie was received, it couldn't beat out The Lion King. In yet another Tom Hanks movie framed as a flashback, we start the film in 1981 with Forrest telling his entire story on a bus park bench to a stranger in his home state of Alabama. Back in 1956, Forrest is a boy with an IQ of 75 and leg braces to cure a curved spine, whose dance moves inspire Elvis Presley's dance moves. On his first day of school, he meets Jenny, and they become best friends. When he is fleeing from bullies one day, she yells, "Run, Forrest, run," and he keeps on running into a college football scholarship where he meets President John F. Kennedy and eventually returns a dropped book to Vivian Malone Jones on the day she breaks through Governor George Wallace's stand in the school door. Forrest enlists in the army after college where he makes a friend named Bubba who likes shrimp, and they get shipped off to Vietnam where they serve under Lieutenant Dan. Bubba dies, but Forrest manages to save a bunch of wounded platoon mates, including Lieutenant Dan, before getting shot in the buttocks, which earns him a Medal of Honor from President LBJ. He reunites with Jenny, who was at the ceremony protesting the war, as she is now a drug-addled hippie. While recovering from his ass injury, Gump got addicted to ping pong and eventually goes pro, which gets him a ping pong diplomacy job with the army, which eventually leads him to being interviewed on the Dick Cavett Show, where he inspires John Lennon's song Imagine. He eventually is recognized by President Nixon, who gives Forrest a room at the Watergate complex, and Forrest unwittingly exposes the Watergate scandal. After being discharged from the army and making money from a ping pong paddle sponsorship, Forrest buys a shrimping boat and hires a drunk and depressed legless Lieutenant Dan as his first mate. After his boat is the only one that survives Hurricane Carmen, they make a profitable shrimping business and name it after Bubba. Dan has a come-to-God moment and thanks Forrest for saving him, then invest early in Apple stock so they become millionaires. Gump gives half his money to Bubba's family as thanks for the inspiration for the shrimp company, and then returns home to take care of his mother, who is dying of cancer. In 1976, Jenny comes home while recovering from drugs and abuse. She visits Forrest for one night, has sex with him, and then leaves the next day, breaking Forrest's heart, so he then runs across the country for 3 years and inadvertently creates a smiley face t-shirt. Back at the bus stop in 1981, Forrest reveals he's waiting for Jenny, who wrote him a letter asking him to come there. Jenny reveals she had Forrest's baby, and it is implied that she has AIDS and dies the next year after they move back to their hometown as a family. The movie ends with I see dead people going to school on his first day. And that's Forrest Gump in a Namely 90s Minute. More or less. Thanks for watching, and join us again next Tuesday for another Namely 90s Minute. Remember, you can always hear these a day early in full episodes of Namely 90s on all major podcasting platforms, and most of the small ones too. Please subscribe and do all the other YouTube things, bell ringing, share, like, subscribes, that sort of stuff, and we'll catch you next time.